growing up, I didn't have a lot of friends, and I would watch like Hannah Montana and see her and Lily, her friend, and I was like, oh my God, I need a friend like that, you know? And I had this whole like thing about Hannah Montana and how she was living like the ideal life.
How are you, Lia?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing well. My name is Adam, and this podcast is about you and your journey in music.
That's cool.
Sweet. First off, where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Tel Aviv in Israel.
Okay.
I was born here, and then we moved to the States for a bit, and then I came back when I was 5.
Okay. Where in the States did you live?
Hoboken.
Okay.
Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey. So you moved from Tel Aviv to New Jersey you said you moved back to Tel Aviv at 5?
Yeah.
Do you even remember being in the States?
I do. I remember the leashes in kindergarten. They would take us on a leash to the park. I remember that very vividly.
Leash? Were you all leashed together, or was it like the teacher
My
was
mom,
walking a bunch
when my
of...
mom saw a kid on a leash in the supermarket, she told my dad, okay, we're moving back.
Is that right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh man, my son had a leash. I'm not gonna lie to you. But he had a
listen, it's a different circumstance.
But he had a backpack, and then there was a leash attached because he's wild. I mean, he would have ran away. So the leash, it is goofy. I mean,
I just remember that. I remember that very vividly, and I remember Dunkin' Donuts. That's
Donuts. But so were you leashed together like you're in prison or something? Like everyone in front of you was leashed in.
We had like it was a really long strip, and our hands were.
And you're all like shackled to it, so it was just like a big like you're convicts. That's amazing.
Walking to the park, and the park was like across the street from the school.
Did they like unleash you and then let you guys go out?
And
then come back. They're like, okay, line up, and then they shackled you all back together and across the street. Oh, that's pretty funny. That is awesome. Yeah. Okay, so that doesn't sound like a pleasant memory of the United States, but
no, I mean it was just peculiar. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's a good word. That's a good word to describe it. Peculiar. Okay, so then you moved back to Tel Aviv. I did see that you come from quite a musical household. Was your dad in a boy band?
Yes, he was.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a band called High Five. They were the only like boy band that ever was in Israel. He went because he was bored. Like he went to an audition. He was bored and he wanted like to make some extra money, and he went to an audition and he got in. And then
was that like life changing? I'm sure. Was he touring and like were they like a big deal?
They were hugely successful. They were super successful. Cool. Yeah, and we still like when we walk down the street together, I see like women, you know, like my mom's age coming up to him and asking for photos and autographs.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah. I'm usually the one taking the pictures. Yeah.
Can you take a picture of us?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
That's funny. So you grew up like kind of in the public eye, so to speak.
No, I mean, okay, so they broke up like the band before I was born.
Okay.
And then we moved to the States, and then when we came back, like stuff like kind of quieted down a bit. But I still like, I remember a lot of times people like recognizing my dad, and like I was sitting in a restaurant with him one time, and he was like, he counted down. He was like 3, 2, 1, and then I don't know. I thought something was gonna happen. Then a woman came up to him. And she was like, "Could you bring me back to when I was 14 and take a picture with me?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So you never you never had a chance to see him perform?
No, I didn't. I mean, he performed for us at home, you know.
Okay, but what about like is there footage of this of him? Okay.
Yeah. I used to, when I was little, I would like watch their videos and think like, oh, they're gonna be high 6 and I'm gonna be the 6th member.
That's cool. So when you were in school, I know we're kind of going off a tangent here, but it's just very fascinating to me. When you're in school and stuff, like were your teachers like, oh my gosh, your dad is blah blah blah? Like
I had a babysitter who was really like, she used to be like a super fan, and she gave us a huge binder of everything. Like she saved like newspaper clippings, you know, in the 90s. So like newspaper clippings and like posters and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's really weird because when I was like younger, people knew who I was talking about. And then there was a period of time when I was like in middle school where no one knew. And then now it's like vintage and retro, so everyone knows.
Oh, okay. I came back. Like, it made a
yeah.
Oh man, that's so funny.
It's very funny.
Obviously, so you grew up in a musical household, it sounds like. And what was the first instrument you learned? And was it something that your dad, because your mom was a dancer too, right?
She was, yeah, she actually danced with the band. Like she
Oh,
danced
she
with
was
them
a
on
part of the
stage.
band, like a
No,
background dancer.
so me and her and my dad, they met in a dance club, and then they
Oh,
got together, and then he wrote a song about her for the band. It's very, a song about her for the band, and then she on like when they would perform that song, she would dance with him. It was like a number. Yeah,
oh, wow. What's that song?
I don't remember the name,
Really?
but yeah, no, it was just the first like instrument stuff. I never played an instrument because I was a singer. That
Mhm.
was my thing. And then my dad would like bug me to play guitar and like to play an instrument, and I didn't want to do it. And then when it came from me, and when I started wanting to write songs, and I wanted to write them not just in my head, so then I tried, like I started learning guitar.
Okay. What age
But
was
I only
that?
did when I was 14.
14.
Yeah.
Okay. Prior to that, were you said you were a singer, so did you do chorus, choir, or vocal lessons, any of that?
Um, Well, I didn't really have that. I grew up in a democratic school, and it was like a lot of like free stuff, and we didn't really have any like thing. I did hang out in the music room all the time. Like I didn't go to class. I was just in the music room, and that's how I started making music. I met Jonathan, which is my music teacher, and I met him when I was in the first grade, I think, and I performed for the first time in the first grade,
Wow.
in front of everyone. I sang "The Climb" by Hannah
No,
Montana.
Miley Cyrus. Oh, Hannah Montana. Okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, for me, she was Hannah Montana.
Right.
But I sang that, and like I would just play with him, and that's like the music room became my spot. I even got this tattoo, if you can see the
Yeah, it's
key,
like a key on a
so, like a
carabiner
devil.
thing. Yeah.
So the key is to the music room in my school.
Is that
Yeah,
right? How
yeah.
cool. That's such a cool tattoo. Wow. So going back, you first of all, you did the climb, which is like an incredibly hard song to sing. It's
When
like
I was
that's
six.
something they show on like American Idol all the time, and then everyone's like, like that's what a choice was that. Like tell me about that. Like, were you just a huge
I
fan of
mean,
hers, and we're like, okay, that's a hit, I should go for it?
of course, I was the biggest fan. Like I adored her. There was this one music store on a street in my like city that they had in display the acoustic purple guitar, the Hannah Montana
Oh,
guitar. Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah,
And I
yeah.
wanted that more than anything. And I didn't play guitar, so I didn't get it. And then like a couple months ago, I was like drunk with my friends, and we were about to order it on Amazon, but I didn't do it at the end.
Oh, you
Um,
didn't? Okay. I was gonna say
but
that'd be so epic if you ordered it and then you were like playing
yeah.
live with it. You should
Oh,
do
I
that.
I have to do that. I have to do
What
that.
was
But
it
I'm not
going on eBay
fancy.
for? I
I
wonder how
didn't
much it
have.
is.
I think it was like maybe $50.
Oh, it's
But
not
that
bad.
means so like it's a really shitty guitar though, don't you
Right.
think?
That's true.
But,
That is true. If it's only 50 bucks,
and then
it
like
probably is
shipping,
garbage.
yeah, and then shipping here is gonna be like double that price. So
I wonder if you
then
could
and
get it and then just like have it totally revamped. So like essentially you just have the body of it and then like get a new neck.
yeah,
I mean, you could flip
I
it
should
over, make
do
it a
that.
lefty guitar.
Yeah,
Oh, there's an
I should.
idea.
Yeah, we'll do that on my tour.
You
Um,
should. That'd be cool.
yeah. So wait, what were we talking about?
We're talking about how you sound that guitar in the
Oh,
store.
yeah, yeah. So I, so the reason I sang that song, I really loved her, and growing up, I didn't have a lot of friends, and I would watch like Hannah Montana and see her and Lily, her friend, and I was like, oh my god, I need a friend like that. And I had this whole like thing about Hannah Montana and how she was living like the ideal life. I was 6,
Mhm.
I don't know, and then I went to see the movie with my mom, and we heard that song, and I was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna sing.
Okay. And you sang that one.
Yeah.
And did you get the bug? Like, I mean, to go up in front of your class and decide to do that, was it like a talent show or you're like, I'm going to show up today, I'm going to ask the teacher and I'm going to sing some Hannah, I'm going to sing The
Um,
Climb.
So it's a bit different here because we have something called the Kabbalat Shabbat, which is like Saturday is a huge day in like Israel and Judaism, whatever. I'm
Mhm.
not
Yeah, yeah,
religious,
yeah,
but thing.
for
And
sure.
so we have this thing where people would like perform every Friday, like at the end of the day in school, and people would just like perform or like sing a song or put on a skit or whatever. And I just, I was talking to my music teacher and we said we should do it. And then I found the video a while ago of me doing it. And
there's footage of
and
this.
I'm not that bad. I thought I would be way worse, and I'm not that bad.
You should put it up on YouTube.
I put it on my Instagram for my birthday, but yeah, I should.
You did? How did I miss that?
I only put like the good part,
Oh, okay. But I need to go back and watch that. I was looking at your Instagram. I didn't see that. That's cool. That is so cool. So from there, when do you said 14 is you get the guitar? Is that what you said? And then like when do you start writing songs? 14 as well?
14, yeah. I mean, the first thing I ever wrote was like a rap about the seniors in my school set to the sound of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, that's awesome.
They were graduating and we made like a music video, like laughing at them. It was super bad. It was like if it ever comes out, I'll be like pissed because it's the worst thing I ever did.
Okay.
But that's like what I started writing. And then I realized I don't know how to write in Hebrew. Like I can write in it, but I can't really express myself. And then I started writing songs in English and I just did that. And then, I've been perfecting
doing that ever since. So when you started writing songs in English, was that something that people like latched onto at all, or not really, not as much? Like, do you feel like you would have had more? Do you feel like if you were writing in Hebrew, like maybe you would have had more people like in the school be like, oh, that's so cool, or was it like I guess the English writing in English would have been a different avenue than just writing in Hebrew?
Well, I think no one really knew. I was in school. I was just like performing covers and stuff, and like in holidays and stuff, and not anything of my own. I think at the end of my junior year, I did an original song. I just remember that. That's really weird. But no, I wasn't. I was just like writing for myself, and I didn't really, because I didn't think I was any good, and I wasn't then. Like I wasn't really doing anything good. And then I went to New York when I was 15 for a month to like an arts camp thing. And that's when like I really started like doing my music because up until that I was just singing covers and stuff. And then I was like in a room every day writing songs in front and singing them in front of people. So that's when it really like started for me, I think.
And what was it like? Like, did you hear about this camp? Like, how did you find out about something that was happening in New York and have that opportunity?
Well, my friend, she went to sleepaway camp, and I was like, I never went like to sleepovers, and I never slept outside of my house. I really I was in like Girl Scouts, and then we had a sleepaway like trip thing, and my dad came and picked me up. Like I couldn't do those things. And then my friend went to like a sleepaway camp in Israel, and she talked about how great it was and how like she was meeting new people and stuff. And I thought I should do that, but for my music. And I just like looked around and researched and found this place. It was called Sokapa, and it was just a bunch of like arts. It was in like Manhattan, and I just went. Yeah,
that must have been a big, obviously big thing, especially since you were not one to sleep away, and now you're in a whole different country. Are your parents with you?
For a month by myself when I'm 14.
Oh my gosh, what was that like?
But it was
overwhelming?
It was overwhelming at first, but because like I didn't have like much friends back home, and I thought people just don't like me. And then going there and everyone was like nice and they liked me. I was like making friends and stuff. And I was just like, oh my God, like this is how I need to live, And I was I was like flourishing there, really. And then I came back home and I moved schools because I was like, I can't stay in somewhere that sees me like the way I was. Because I was in the same school since like coming back to Israel until junior year. So I was with people from the beginning that saw me as someone, and then I wasn't that someone anymore. But I didn't get a chance to show that because, people have a first impression on you, and like pretty much that's it sometimes.
Right. You got to kind of come back and have this new, more confident identity of yourself and present that to a whole group of new people. Was it hard to come into a school in your junior year or no?
I actually came in my senior year.
Or senior year. Wow. So the last year of class, you decided to go to a whole new school.
And it was difficult because I wasn't really like, because I was a senior. So no one was really like, it's just a senior. No one really cares about getting to know new people or stuff. And then halfway through the school year, COVID happened. So like,
oh wow. Okay,
yeah.
so you were in high school when the COVID hit?
I was in high school. I graduated in 2020.
Okay.
Graduated in
Wow.
June.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say for most people that would, I mean, for everyone it was a bummer, obviously. But I mean, I guess if you're going from a school that you didn't like to a new school, like probably graduating or walking or whatever,
Yeah.
happens when you finish school via, I'm sure Zoom or something probably
Oh,
wasn't that big
so
of a deal.
that's not. Yeah. So we don't have that here. We don't have like a huge
Like a
graduation.
graduation. Okay.
So it was just the school I moved to was like more focused on like the final exams and getting them done, and then like just for people who don't really like school, which
Uh-huh.
was fun for me because I was
Yeah.
like using the spare time I had because you just come to class to the
Mm-hmm.
classes you need to go to, and then you like in the school was on the beach, so I would just
Mm-hmm.
go to the beach all the time. But I actually COVID was a good thing for me in that time because I was just at home and I would do like Zoom lessons in the morning, but then I had the whole day to just make my music and focus on that and find my sound and my ways and
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Wow.
And it was good. Like the first few months were really productive for me.
So you
Yeah.
were able to write some, and then you put out some music then as well. Or like your
Yeah.
original songs didn't come out until 2020, correct?
Yeah. My first song actually came out uh today last year.
Oh,
Like June
wow.
4th, 2021, I think. Yeah.
Okay. That's so cool. And that was something you
Yeah.
had written in 2020?
Yeah, it was something I have like my whole EP was written during the first like lockdown,
Okay.
Zoom sessions with producers all over the world and stuff. And that's, yeah. So it was all written then, but it's been coming out ever since.
Sure, sure. I do know, and I don't know if this is still the case, but in Israel, you are kind of, or not but people are forced, not, I guess this is I don't know how to phrase this.
Oh no, of course.
You're invited to join their military, right? You have to.
Uh, yeah, you
And is
have
that
to.
something that you had to do? I mean, it sounds like you were graduating from high school or was.
I didn't go actually to the military. I was like allowed not to go.
Oh.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean, you have to
Okay,
go
no,
to the
no, no. Yeah, you have
military.
to go, right? For at least 2 years or 1 year. And
It's
so,
for girls it's 2.5 years, for guys it's 3.
okay. Because I've
Yeah.
spoken to a handful of other artists from Tel Aviv, and
Oh really?
some of them have had the opportunity to have music as their,
Oh
service.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
I know people like that. That's not the case for me. I didn't
okay.
go. I've known from a very young age that I didn't want to go.
Uh-huh.
Um,
So there are
yeah.
ways around it if you
Yeah.
know how to kind of do it. Okay, cool. I was just curious. Because it sounds like you're right around that age, so you would have to do
Yeah,
that.
I'm 19. So most of my friends are in the army right now.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So you were writing songs, you put out your first song. What was it like putting something out, and how was it received? Like, were you worried about how people are gonna hear it or feel about it or anything like that?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I was very nervous because putting out a song that you wrote and that you sing is something so intimate and so personal, and putting it out for everyone to hear is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily for me, like the first song, Manboy, that was the first song I put out a year ago today,
Mm-hmm.
was like just I shot the video with all of my friends, and we had like a huge party to like celebrate it coming out and my whole debut and things. So it was like a really soft what's it called, landing.
Yeah, launch or whatever.
Yeah. So it was just like easy to come out with all this music surrounded by family and friends, which was the way I like recorded my whole EP, was just because I was supposed to go to Los Angeles to make the music and to do all this stuff. But then because of COVID, I stayed home, and I was just, in like parks with my friends and going to the beach and hanging out with my family at home and making all this music and recording it in my parents' closet. So
Really?
yeah, just putting up my mic in their closet. So it was just a very like, I think the music came out way more authentic than it would if I was in a different, country, and just, I did it at home.
Wow. So everything on the record is done at your house?
Yeah, except for one song. One song was recorded. The last single I put out, "Sad Teenage Flower," it was recorded I think a month before the first lockdown. And I recorded it at a studio but the studio was of the brother of my music teacher. So it was all very like, you know,
Oh, okay. Very
very
close knit.
I'm very at home. Yeah.
Yeah. And that song's the most recent one is doing very well. It just came out what last month or March?
I think yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure, but I think maybe March, yeah.
Okay. And tell me about that song. I mean, it's doing awesome on Spotify. It has like over 100,000 streams.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, talk to me about that song a little bit.
So it's the first song on the EP that I recorded, the first original song I ever recorded, like outside of that camp that I was in.
Really?
Yeah, and it was so special because it's a song about like, you know, growing up as a misfit and growing up as like, you know, not part of the popular crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And by recording it and by putting it out and by making like music and making my art out of like a not so fun situation of like being not like, you know, being an outsider,
Mm-hmm.
it's a huge, like it's a really powerful feeling. And then for people to like listen to the music, and I had a lot of people message me like saying how they relate to it and how it made them feel and that they felt like they weren't alone. That was like my whole point, my whole goal for the whole situation was to like to feel included. And the way that
Mm-hmm.
I made other people feel included by listening to my music is like beyond what my expectations, you know.
Sure, sure. Is there a reason? Like, it sounds like so that was the first song you had written out of this camp, and probably the
No,
first song you had recorded.
the first song I had recorded out of the camp, yeah.
I mean,
And
sorry, recorded out of the camp.
yeah,
Was there a
written in
reason why you held it for so long? I mean, just off of like linear, speaking that way, like it wouldn't be like, okay, that was the first song I recorded, so I'm gonna put that one out first. But is there a reason why you decided to wait and put out Manboy?
well, first of all, I wasn't like, I think we weren't gonna put it out, and then we were looking at like the EP and the layout and like what songs we wanted on it, and then suddenly it fit for me. Like I
Mm-hmm.
thought it would be a good fit, and I listened to it again because when I first recorded it, I didn't like it. I didn't think my voice sounded good. I didn't think, I don't know, I was very insecure about it. And then after putting out Manboy and after putting out Metaphors and Bird and just like all these songs that were doing well and that people were receiving and that they liked, I was like, okay, well maybe there's something here, you know, because people
Mm-hmm.
like what I'm doing. So maybe I can be a bit more vulnerable and a bit more like emotional about it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Is it interesting that that one lands the hardest too? I mean, to
Yeah.
have not that the other songs aren't vulnerable and authentic and everything else, but it's something of like I've heard this before where it's like the one song that maybe you don't want to release, or is it too, too like direct or, too
Yeah.
vulnerable ends up becoming, a very successful song.
Yeah, because I think even if it's like below the surface, the moment you're like when you're at your most authentic being, the most authentic that you can be, people like feel that energy and
Mm-hmm.
they hear it and they feel the authenticity. And I think the song did what it was supposed to do, and that's amazing.
I completely agree with you. With that, do you you said you have an EP coming out. When do you have a date for the EP?
Why not?
July 9th. So coming up
Yeah.
like a couple weeks or a
Yeah.
week, right? No, 2 weeks. Wow, are you
2 weeks.
excited
Yeah.
about that? Are you doing any like a big release for that?
No, I wanted to. I want to get a band together and I want to perform like properly, you know. But
Uh-huh.
I won't be able to do it by that date. I'm just gonna I'm excited about putting it out. It's been so long like in the making, you know. We've
Mm-hmm.
been doing it for like 2 years, I think. We've been working on it and so much like emotion and so much stuff, and I've become a totally different person by the time like I started making it into now. I started it when I was 17 and I'm 19 now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and especially at this age, you know, you change so vastly in 2 years. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to put it out, and I'm excited for new stuff too, you know.
Right. I was gonna say, you must have a bunch of new songs if you've been working
Yeah,
on that EP for a couple of years now.
yeah. I have a lot of stuff that I'm making, a lot of stuff that I'm writing. I don't know, I'm still searching for my sound, still searching for what, you know, because the writing, I know how to write my emotions out and I know how to sing them, but the production wise is still a mystery to me because I'm still trying to figure that out. And I think I'm getting there. I think I'm on the right track, but it takes a long time.
Sure, it does, for sure. Well, I appreciate your time today, Lia. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
I do have one more quick question. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Well, as an aspiring artist, just do what makes you happy. If your art makes you happy, then do it. If it doesn't, don't feel like you have to. It's something that I've struggled a lot with, looking for the muse or looking for, you know, an inspiration to write a song or to paint a painting or to take a picture, whatever it is. If you're forcing it, it's not gonna be you. It's gonna be like something that you had to do, like homework. So you need to be honest with yourself, and if it's not working right now, that's fine. Come back to it later.